All right, here we go. Today we have Tony Rock, the first comedian to roast me on stage. Remember that?
You remember that?
I remember that.
Yes.
And our first ever full sit-down interview. Welcome to VladTV.
Thanks for having me, bro. Been a minute.
It's been a minute. We've known each other, you know. We've been keeping in contact here and there.
I'm like, yo, he's working. And you're like, he's working.
Yeah, exactly. We're both making money. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
We haven't called each other for a loan yet, so we both doing good.
Yeah, you haven't borrowed any money from me and vice versa, so we must be doing all right.
Our babies are good.
Yeah. Exactly. And we're, our birthdays are 2 days, from each other. We're about to celebrate. Birthday. There we go.
It's about to go up this year. I'm going up.
Well, this is our first time doing a real sit-down interview. I want to start in the very, very beginning.
Yes.
So you were born in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Yes.
8 kids.
Yes.
And you're the youngest?
Hell no. I'm a middle child.
What?
I'm middle child.
Middle child.
Yeah.
Okay. And Chris is the oldest?
No.
No?
Chris is the second to oldest.
The second oldest, because he's 9 years older than you.
Yes.
Okay. And I remember one of your routines, you called your dad DJ Khaled.
Yeah. He's like,
another one.
Another one. That's a good bit. And then he got to me like, he's the best. And the room just goes crazy.
Okay. Now, your mom was a school teacher and a social worker?
Yes. My mother was a school teacher. My mother was a social worker. Then she opened a daycare center after she moved back to South Carolina when my dad passed. So my mother's always been involved with nurturing children.
Okay. And your dad was a truck driver?
Yeah.
And a newspaper deliveryman?
No, he drove a truck for the New York Daily News.
Ah, okay, got it.
Before that, he drove a truck for Rheingold Brewery. Remember Rheingold?
Yeah.
And when they were in Bushwick, Brooklyn. And my dad is actually Black history. My dad was the first black man allowed to be in the truck drivers union in Brooklyn, New York.
Aha.
I remember vaguely, I was so young, but I remember like tension in the house and I didn't know what was going on. And then as I grew up and got older, I realized like he was getting death threats at the house and people would drive him out of the house like, nigga, get the fuck out of the union. And
wow,
it was serious. I remember like councilmen and like neighborhood, not like mayors and governors, but like, city councilmen coming to the house and would sit with my dad and have conversations and talk like, you really got to just, take this in stride because what you stand for is so much bigger. So he got hurt a couple times on the job, accidents.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And your dad's name is Julius Rock.
Julius Rock, yes.
And, a lot of people think that Rock is a stage name, but it's not. It's your actual real name.
Actual real last name, yeah.
Now, was your dad named after your great-great-grandfather?
I believe so. The story's vague because now the elder statesmen are not as many around as we would hope to tell stories, but I believe that was the case.
Right. Julius Caesar Tingman?
No, Tingman is my mother's maiden name. Aha.
Okay, got it. Got it. Because I remember seeing something about how they kind of went into your family's history. Uh-huh. And your
would you see this of?
I read it online.
Okay.
I think it's something that Chris did, where they kind of went into like a PBS thing.
Oh, that 23andMe shit?
Yeah.
I don't believe in that shit.
So you don't believe in any of that?
I don't believe in that.
Okay, because they're saying that he was like, he fought in the Civil War and he was enslaved for 21 years and stuff like that.
23andMe seems like a lot of bullshit to me.
Okay.
From people that have worked so hard to erase all of our history can now tell us everything about us. I don't believe it.
Okay. So you're growing up in Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
And you talked about how crack was like a bomb when it hit your neighborhood.
It was we were ground zero.
Yeah.
On the East Coast, I believe Bed-Stuy was ground zero. I don't know what was going on in the West at that time, but when that shit hit Brooklyn and it hit Bed-Stuy, it was like that.
Yeah.
Overnight, it was like, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, you see the biggies of the world who were kind of caught up in that era.
No,
right?
I didn't see any of the positive. I didn't see any of the.
Well, no, I mean when Biggie was selling crack and everything else like that.
Right. And I don't even mean that was positive. I mean he was on the other side of making the money. I saw people dilapidated, and I saw buildings turn into crack houses. I saw people turn into zombies. I saw people get shot. I saw it was all bad what I saw. I never looked at it like it was enticing. Like I could get out of here on this. Nah.
Like, what was the worst thing you think you saw during that era?
My friend got shot dead like 5 seconds after I walked away from him. We were literally on the corner talking about going to play basketball. And I used to play basketball every day back in the summertime in New York, back in those days. And my man used to play with us all the time. And I'm coming out of the grocery store. He's on the corner by the payphone. This is back in the day, beepers and payphones, like early crack. And he's like, you going to play ball today? And I'm like, oh man, you busy getting money, man. You ain't playing with us no more. And he's all, crazy jewels and the 4-finger ring. And he's like, I'm gonna play ball today. What time y'all going? Like, we're going to go about 3 o'clock. All right, man, I'm going to finish what I got to do, and I'm going to meet y'all in the court. I'm like, you bullshit. And I turned to walk away. And as I turned to walk away, some dude's walking up. I got my back turned. And the dude got the drop on him. And he goes for the reach. And homie just, blah, right in his head. And when I heard the boom, I turned around, and I just see his body dropping.
Wow.
And I fucking hauled ass.
Yeah, man, sad.
Yeah. And that's like, I say this all the time, like, you're not supposed to see stuff like that growing up in your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. I've seen people shot dead more than once.
Really?
Yeah. And that's not something you're supposed to.
How many times?
2 times. My man Donnie, may he rest in peace. And one time I was driving home, I had dropped my grandmother off at home, and I was driving back to my block, and I'm at the red light, a block away from my block, at the red light. And I see 2 guys arguing, they start scrapping, and it's nighttime, it's like maybe 11 o'clock, so it's dark. They start scrapping, one guy's clearly whipping the other guy's ass, and he just steps back, pulls the gun out, boom, 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 hits him 3 times. And I just run the light and take off. Because he's at the corner, so he looks up and I'm gone.
I mean, with the drugs came the money. You know, you talk about how,
Right, and with the money came the violence.
Right, but the money is enticing. You know, you talk about the first guy had all the jewelry and whatever, probably had a bunch of girls, had the cars. Yeah. You know, you guys were not wealthy growing up. At all. You know, especially with that many kids. Like, was there a certain allure to, hey, maybe I could just sell a little something on the side and, get some sneakers and whatever?
Not for me. Not for me. My parents did such a great job with all of us of just kind of like brainwashing us to believe that we could do everything and anything we put our minds to. Don't ask me how they did it, but every day we walked out the house, they did this, they just did this thing where they just helped us realize that everything we saw in front of us wasn't our vision. Our vision was beyond that. And as long as we stuck to that idea, we could go places.
Well, but at least one of your brothers got caught up in some of that.
Yeah, my oldest brother, Charles, he battled some demons.
Yeah. We'll talk about a little bit about him a little bit later, because there's a part of the story that I want to get into as well.
Okay.
Chris is 9 years older than you. But at the time that he starts going to school, to, I guess, high school, there's a lot of bullying, and he's getting beaten by white students to the point where your parents actually take him out of school and put him in a different school.
Okay, so you want the whole story? So my mother's an educator, like I said.
Yeah.
My mother wanted us to have the best education possible. Mm-hmm. Her logic was, if we go to school in another district where she thought the school systems were better, we'd get a better education. We ended up going to a all-white neighborhood, Garrettson Beach, Brooklyn. Very few people know about Garrettson Beach, Brooklyn. It's very small. But we went to a public school, maybe an hour bus ride away, all white. But not only all white, poor white.
Huh.
Nothing, what did Chrissy say? Nothing a nigga with a penny hates more, nothing a white person with a penny hates more than is a nigga with a nickel, right? Okay. So every day, every single day, Monday to Friday, every day. And if it wasn't every day, I say this all the time, if it wasn't every day, it fucking felt like every day. Every day at 3 o'clock when the kids that lived out of the district would have to line up and wait for the school bus, the white kids would get out the front of the school. We had to go through the side door. They would get out the front, run around the building with their big brothers and big sisters would pick them up. And they would run around the building and say, let's get the niggas. Every day, we had to get in a physical altercation with our classmates because they with their big brothers and big sisters and their fathers sometimes and their mothers. And they're like, let's get the niggas. So every day we had a physical altercation with kids that we went to school with. It taught me one thing. Most people are followers. Most people don't stand on their own 2 feet when the shit hit the fan. And I always remember vowing to myself, like, I'm always gonna stand on what I believe in. I'm never gonna follow because somebody else said do something. I'm never gonna do good because somebody said do it, or bad. I'm gonna stand on what the fuck I wanna do. Because I saw it every day. Yo, we was just in class talking about comic books. We were just in there exchanging baseball cards and talking about, what TV shows we liked. And then when your big brother picked you up, like, let's go get the niggas. It was like, okay, man. So we did that for 6 years. For 6 years.
So you were going to the same school also?
Yeah, I was, it was always a version of a rock brother in the school at some point because we also, so many of us are so many years apart. So one would leave, another one would come in. So my Chris being the first one to go to the school, when he graduated, my mother's like, okay, we got to get him somewhere else. My brother Andre went through it. I was going through it. My brother Brian went through it. With Chris, it was different because she kept him in the neighborhood for junior high school. She didn't keep him. She just, thought he'd be better served in the neighborhood for junior high school. But now these kids are older. They're, in a sense, more racist. They're emboldened now because it's junior high school. It's not teachers walking them out the door. It's like, oh, we kind of got more freedom. And he really went through it.
Okay, because I'd heard stories that he was put in the hospital and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Kid kicked him in the head one time playing soccer.
Huh.
Runs and does a jump kick and kicks my brother in the head, fractured his skull. He was in the hospital.
Fractured his skull?
Yeah, that shit angered me. That shit really made me mad. Wow. I remember being in public school. I remember really being mad about that one.
Okay, because at one point he got put in a different school, but then he dropped out.
Oh, that was
high school.
High school.
Yeah.
High school.
Right.
Yeah.
But why did your brother drop out?
It's interesting because he was a good student. It was just the situation, the scenario that he was in. All of this, I got to fight every day. I'm being bullied. Not only being bullied by white kids, I'm being bullied by black kids as well. I could just get this degree. You mean, he says it himself, I could take this test and don't have to go through 4 years of this bullshit. If I take this test, it's 3 hours, But my mother being the educator was like, okay, weeks and weeks and weeks, and I'm going back and forth about that decision. And then she said, well, if you're going to do this, you still have to go to college. So he drops out, gets his GED, and then enrolls in community college.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay. Because by 1984, you're only 10 years old, he starts doing stand-up.
Yes.
And I guess Eddie Murphy saw him at a club.
Yes. Eddie Murphy saw him at the comic strip.
Yeah. Took him under his wing a little bit.
Did him a favor.
Yeah.
Did him a favor. Take him under his wing is a big statement. Did him a favor.
Did him a favor.
Yeah.
Right. Because in 85, he showed up in Crush Groove as the person standing next to a club phone during fight.
While Russell and Ron were fighting. They slide past him. Yeah.
Exactly. But then in 87, you're 13 at the time, he gets in Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yes.
And that's his first real role.
Yes.
What was it like? Because you're in junior high at the
time? That was big, man. That was big. Eddie Murphy, just imagine the height of Eddie Murphy at the time.
Yes.
So he comes home one night, wakes us up. Yo, Eddie Murphy said he put me in a movie. Yeah. And we get the fuck out of here. Get out my room, man. Yo, Eddie Murphy was there, I'm telling you. And it happened fast. Maybe a week later, my dad was driving him to the airport. And we were like, oh shit, he really did it. But everybody likes to say that Eddie discovered my brother. He put him in the movie. Mm-hmm. And then once the movie wrapped, he was back in Bed-Stuy in the room next door.
Okay, so he was still living at home.
There was no, hey, we out of here. There was, okay, I was in a movie.
Yeah.
Which actually made shit worse. Because now we in the hood, and it's like, yo, that's the motherfucker that was in the movie.
Why aren't you in a mansion?
Exactly. How poor people, that's how people think. People that don't have much think that whatever you do is colossal.
Right, because what did he get paid? Maybe a couple $1,000s or something?
Maybe.
In it? Maybe. If he's lucky?
Maybe $1,500.
Maybe. Well, right about that time, when you were in junior high, you were dating this girl.
Oh, shit. I was dating a lot of girls, but which one are you talking about?
You were dating a girl.
Wait, what is this we're reading? What is this?
What do you mean?
What are you reading?
I'm reading my notes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. You're dating a girl.
I'm not arguing with your notes.
Yeah, man. Listen, I do my research. Remember, I'm the feds. I know everything.
I'm dating a girl. Continue.
Dating a girl, and you go into like a pizza shop or something, and there are some older dudes there. You know the story.
No, but this is before I got to the pizza shop.
Okay.
So so now I gotta go back. I'm gonna give you the whole story. So after we got out the public school, after I get out the public school in Garrison Beach, my mother decided it was so difficult for my two older brothers to stay in the neighborhood. She decides, okay, I can go to school in the neighborhood now. So I went from public school an hour away, all white kids. I was one of maybe 12, maybe 15 black kids in the whole school. Now she says, okay, you can go to junior high down the street. So now I go from all white to all black.
Yeah.
But not only that, all of the kids in my junior high school went to public school together.
Oh, okay.
So they all were familiar with each other.
Yeah.
With each other. I come in 7th grade. I'm a stranger to the kids in my own neighborhood. I knew maybe 2-3 block radius. I didn't know 20 block radius. Now I went to the white school, so I come in the morning, I'm saying, good morning, teacher, because that's what we did. And these kids are like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? And the teacher's like, Anthony, read the next paragraph. And I stand up to read. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? So I was the odd man out. But my saving grace was I was athletic. I played every sport and I was funny. That was two of the things that kids was just like, yo, rock is cool. Like, leave him alone.
Okay.
I'm like, funny as shit. Okay, so now I'm dating a girl.
You're dating a girl.
Yes.
And you run into a guy.
I walk out the school. We got out for lunch. They would let us out for lunch. So I walk out to school one day. There's two dudes across the street. They're looking at me. I'm not paying any mind. Not really. I got my leather bomber on something, and maybe they're going to try to rob me for my leather bomber. It was around that time where people got their sneakers and their bombers. It was a wrap. So one of the dudes comes across the street like, hey, yo. And I was like this in junior high school. I had a growth spurt, maybe a late one. And he's like, yo, you Tony Rock? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you dating this girl? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's your girlfriend? Yeah. And he yells back across the street to the dude like, yeah, it's him. And I'm like, this motherfucker's getting confirmation. And homie comes across the street and puts the fucking gun right in my face. It's like, yo, that's my girl, motherfucker. That ain't your girl, that's my girl.
And how old is he?
If I was 13, he might have, at the time, he seemed like a big guy, but he might have been 16 or 17. Okay. But I was 13, so
older than you.
He seemed big at the time. And he's like, I don't want to hear about you talking to her anymore. And I'm like, oh shit, you got it, bro, you got it. And I don't go to the pizza shop. I run home. I run down the hill, down Saratoga Avenue to my house. And my oldest brother, Shabazz, is in there. And I say, hey, a guy just put a gun in my face. And Shabazz was the guy that was like, nobody fucks with his little brothers. And he just jumped about the bed and was like, let's go. And grabbed about 10 guns and put them in my father's car and drove me back to the school. And he said, when you get to the school, I'm gonna let you out a block away, walk back to the school. If you see the guy, just walk up to him and then walk away so I know it's him. And don't look back. And I go back to the school now, I'm kind of like tense. I'm like, oh shit, my brother's been in and out of prison my whole life. And I'm like, fuck, this is not gonna be good. And I get back to the school and the guy's not there, I don't see him. So I'm like, I don't see him anyway. I go back to the car, like, I didn't see him anyway. He's like, okay, when you get out of school at the end of the day, I'll be across the street. Same thing. If you see the guy, walk up to him and then just walk away.
Is Shabazz still around?
Shabazz passed.
Because
so I say Charles so people know, but his name is Shabazz,
right.
yeah.
The reason why I asked you that question, because I remember when you told the story, I think with Gary Owen, you said that your brother actually had a few bodies. Allegedly.
No, this is not alleged.
Oh, it's not alleged.
Not
he
alleged.
went to prison for it.
Oh, yeah. He shot a guy one time in Halsey Park, ran home and gave me the gun.
Oh.
Now, I have to give the backstory. So we speeding through a lot, but he was my absolute hero growing up. I had two dads growing up because he tells the story that he was like 18 years old when I was born. He was in prison when I was born. And he said the guard woke him up and was like, hey, you got another brother, Anthony Rock, born at this time, this day. And he was like, I got to get out of jail, see my bro. So growing up, I had my dad who taught me responsibilities and, cleaning and listen to your parents and all that stuff. And then my oldest brother was my cool dad. Taught me how to dress and talk to girls and shoot a jump shot and put the ball between your legs and, always smell good and always keep some money on you because you never know when you got to take a girl on a date. I might have to do something impromptu with a girl if you're trying to get her. Like that cool shit he taught me.
Yeah.
But my dad taught me the dad shit. So he was my absolute hero. Came home one day, gave me a gun and said, hide it. Whatever you do, don't give it to, just keep it, hide it, whatever, don't give it to anybody. My dad comes home like maybe 2-3 weeks later. And my dad he changed his name to El Shabazz God Allah. He was a 5%er. My father didn't play that shit. So my father comes in and I say, hey, Charles said he gave you something to hide. And I'm like, nope. And he's like, it's okay, it's okay. He said he gave you something to hide. You could give it to me. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you sure it's me? You sure it's me? And I'm doing the best I can. Like, really? Me? I don't know, Dad. It's okay. You could give it to me. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. My brother had to call home from prison and say, put me on the phone. Hey, it's okay. Give it to Dad. But you said don't give it to anybody. I know what I said. Give it to Dad. But you said hold it and don't Listen, man, I'm telling you it's cool. Went in my toy chest. Had it underneath all my toys. Gave my dad the murder weapon. And he whipped my ass. He whipped my ass. And I remember vividly, he whipped my ass. And as I'm recovering from the ass whipping, my mother said, what are you gonna do? He loves his brother. What can you do? Like, he loves his brother.
How many people did he kill?
How
many people was he? No, okay. Let me rephrase this. How many people was he convicted of killing?
I want to say 2.
2. Okay.
I'll say 1.
Okay.
I'll say 1, and we'll
leave it at that.
Yeah.
How did he pass away?
He battled some demons. He was a alcoholic. It was probably other things involved as well, but I was just reluctant to believe what I was being told about him because I didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it got him. Yeah. The demons got him.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Sounds like you guys were extremely close.
That was my hero.
Yeah. Well, in 88, you're 14 at the time. Chris Rock gets a role, and I'm going to get you sucker.
Big.
1 rib.
Big.
We still talk about that to this day. That was such a standout line in that movie.
You really got to, if you look at the scope of my brother's career, you really got to, like, of course I'm biased, but if you really look at it, breakout scene in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
Yeah.
Breakout role in New Jack City.
Yes.
Movies that we still watch every weekend during a cookout or a family function.
Yeah.
He was the fucking star of New Jack City. So it's like those little things that we, again, probably didn't get paid that much.
Yeah.
But lives forever.
So your brother gets this role. I'm going to get you sucker. So once again, you're in high school. Say, oh, my brother's in this new movie.
Yeah, it's the coolest.
You know?
Yeah, it's the coolest.
And once again, man, I absolutely love that scene. It's like, how many ribs you get an order? About 4 ribs. It's about $1 a rib, right? I'll take one. One order. No.
Pulls out the knock.
1 rib. And then you pull out that big knot and say, you guys change for 100.
Great scene.
But unfortunately, that same year, your father passed away.
Yes.
So it was after an ulcer surgery?
No, my dad had an ulcer that burst.
Oh.
He had diabetes as well. They couldn't treat one because of the other. One was conflicting with the other. And yeah. And here's the crazy thing. My dad was a Dodgers fan his whole entire life. It pains him that his children are not Dodgers fans.
I know, you're wearing
I am lifelong diehard Mets.
A Mets fan. Yeah, Mets
lifelong,
right
I'm Mets forever. First baseball game he ever took us to was Mets game. That was it. But the year the Dodgers won the World Series was that year. And I remember coming to the hospital every day like, hey, Dodgers up 2-1. Hey, Dodgers up 3-2. Hey, Dodgers win the World Series. My father passes away. The Dodgers don't win the World Series again until my son is born.
Wow.
So I'm literally holding my newborn baby, watching the Dodgers win the World Series.
Love it.
Fucking tears. Like, he's the second coming. Like, this is like, it was unbelievable.
Well, and then in 1990, you're 16 at the time, Chris Rock gets on SNL.
Big.
Which is the biggest.
Big.
I mean, SNL has always been SNL.
Right.
Right? Since the 70s, it's always been the premier place where all the hottest comics go to do sketch.
Big, colossal. We thought he was going to be the next Eddie Murphy. We thought
that's where Eddie got to start.
Right, we were gearing up for that type of hoopla. Yeah. It just didn't work out the way we envisioned.
Well, right, because he gets on SNL in 90, and then in 91, you mentioned this, he was in New Jack City playing Pookie.
Yep.
Another huge standout role.
Huge.
You know, and it was the start of Ice-T's, acting career as well.
Yes.
Then in 92, he was in one of my favorite Eddie Murphy movies ever, Boomerang. He plays Boney T.
Great movie.
So you're
another breakout role. Another breakout role.
Yeah. Like, first the Fat Boys break up, and now this.
Lines. He give you. My brother got quotables, man. He used to be in the Source magazine. He got so many quotables.
Right.
First Fat Boys break up, now this. Just 1 rib.
Exactly.
It's calling me, man. It's calling me.
Exactly.
Like, he got 3 quotables.
So you're in high school this whole time.
It's the best time ever.
Like, I know you must have gotten some spillover pussy or something during this time.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
You must have.
Absolutely.
You must have. It just comes with it.
Rap, what is it? Not rap parties and it was a great time.
Okay, so you graduate high school, but you haven't started your comedy career yet.
I have not.
A few years pass.
Yes.
Your brother is still doing his thing though. In 93, he leaves SNL and he stars in CB4. Another classic film.
Great movie.
I don't know if it did big numbers when it came out, but it became a cult classic.
It was before its time.
Yeah.
We're living it right now in modern day rap music.
Yeah, I mean, like people literally will talk to a rapper.
CB4.
That's a Gusto from CB4. Oh, it's a CB4
half
rapper.
of these rappers are Gusto.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe more than half.
And then in 1996, Chris Rock had a special first. He had a first special.
What do you mean he had a special first?
A stand-up special.
Yeah. First before me, you saying?
No, before Bring the Pain.
Oh, yeah. Big ass jokes.
Big ass jokes,
Yes.
right. Which did okay.
Did very well.
But not like Bring the Pain.
It was a half hour, though. Big ass jokes was a half hour.
But 1996, Bring the Pain comes out. That's where the Toss My Salad.
That's where that's niggas versus black people as well.
Yes.
But here's the thing, backstory, people don't know this. I'm privy to know a lot of shit. Bring the Pain was supposed to be a half hour as well.
What was it, like an hour and a half?
It was an hour.
Okay.
It was supposed to be a half hour. And then one of the execs at HBO saw him working the half hour. And he was doing an hour and was gonna cut it down to like, I'll do this bit. And she's like, oh, fuck that. We doing the whole hour.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. That was huge. Like we all knew, me and my friends all were fans of Chris Rock, but we didn't really see his stand-ups up to that point. He was just a guy that was getting cool little standout roles in movies, but they were all relatively minor roles. I mean,
unless you're a fan of stand-up comedy,
you didn't know.
Most comics you know from something they've done on the silver screen or on TV.
Yeah. I mean, I was living in the Bay at the time.
Right. If you're a fan of stand-up, like a lot, even me, like people are like, oh man, I didn't know you did stand-up. I saw you on TV. Like, yeah, because you're not a fan of stand-up. Exactly. But fans of stand-up are like, we've been seeing you for 20 years, bro. We know.
Right. But
Same thing with my brother.
When Bring the Pain came out, he essentially became the biggest stand-up comedian at that time.
Yes, indeed. Undeniable.
Yes. What was it like to see that?
Well, it was incredible because I saw every stage of it. I saw the set that was 10 minutes, that turned into 20 minutes, that turned into 30 minutes, that turned into 40, that turned into the hour. I saw niggas versus black people not work. I saw niggas versus black people get booed. I saw the meticulousness of it all. And I just watched like from the sideline, like, man, this is incredible. I happen to have the best seat. I've had the best seat the entire time.
Yeah.
I've had the best seat the entire time. The whole ride, I've had the best seat.
How did the Toss My Salad joke come together?
That was from the HBO jail documentary.
I know that, yeah.
Yeah.
But
that joke wrote itself, actually. You watch the jail documentary, you're like, yo, I just gotta address that. I just gotta say what he said. It wasn't even really it wasn't a joke that you said, man, he's a genius. It was just basically, look at this guy. This is a real motherfucker. Put that guy in any other scenario is crazy. Put him in schools. Schools are failing. Put this motherfucker in schools.
Right. Because he said,
that was genius.
I like to have him toss my salad.
Literally just said what that guy said.
Oral sex. Someone's eating ass. They know they
know his ass. Genius.
And to this day, Toss My Salad is still used in
breakout roles, quotables as far as comedy is concerned.
Yes. And then in 99, he did Bigger and Blacker, which is another big stand-up.
Big.
And was it around that time you started pursuing comedy yourself?
Listen, now we got to go back. See, we're going to go forward and back with the whole time.
Okay, let's do it.
So when he starts doing stand-up, in the beginning, he's saying, man, you should do this. This is for you. But I'm a child. You know, you the funniest one. Tone, you the funniest one. I'm on the stoop in Brooklyn just snapping and ranking on people and having a great time. And everybody's like, yo, Tony's mad funny. But I'm in school. But then he would take me around. We would go to the comic strip sometimes. He would sneak me in the comedy club, let me sit in the back in the corner, you know, just watch the shows. I saw Dennis Wolfberg. I saw Jerry Seinfeld. I saw Adam Sandler. I remember Eddie Murphy coming in one night with the Entourage. And I'm like, holy shit, that's Eddie Murphy. But I was in the corner like, I'm not supposed to be in there. You know? So I've had the best seat the entire time. So years later, and only because my mother, just because guys always want to know what was the delay if I knew I always wanted to do it, my mother stressed education. I didn't think she'd be happy about, or my parents would be happy about another sibling saying, I'm going to take a chance on this thing over here when they wanted us to do college, degree, job, career, you know.
Yeah.
So I kind of was hesitant because I didn't want to disappoint them. But I always wanted to do stand-up. Okay. Big brother does everything first. Yeah. If you don't do some shit because your big brother already did it, you will never live life. So I had to get over that. Big brother was driving first. Big brother was fucking first. Big brother was going to parties first. Still some shit I definitely want to do, but big brother just did it first.
So when did you actually start pursuing comedy
I started
yourself?
Comedy in like 96.
Okay.
Got on stage a couple times, didn't go well at all, but I was very excited about being on stage. I remember that.
Around the time of Bring the Pain?
Yeah.
Aha. So
I remember
that
going on.
inspired you to do it yourself?
No. I was on the tour that summer. I was on the tour bus.
Okay.
So I'm writing and, you know, Not saying anything to him, but I did the tour bus from, I think, Boston to like DC to tape the special. So I did Boston, I did home, I did Philly, I think we did Baltimore, then did Richmond, and then came back to DC to tape the special. And I was on the tour bus the whole time.
Right, but you weren't opening up for him or anything else like that. You were just quietly sitting
just
back.
Hanging out, taking it all in, observing it all, taking it all in.
So what age did you actually hit the stage?
24, 5? I was late.
Okay, so 99 or so.
No, I was already in the game.
98 then?
Like, I was in the game. I officially was in the game July 27th of 1998.
Okay, so you were 24 at the time.
Yeah. So
24, yeah.
Yeah.
24.
That was the day I was like, okay, I'm a comic.
Okay. How was it in the beginning? Were you getting booed?
Of course. Everything's
Okay.
bad. Everything in life is hard before it's easy.
What was the worst heckler you ever got early on?
It's fucked up that I have to decide which one was the worst. If you comics out there only have one story to tell, God bless you. One time a guy threw a lemon wedge at me. Shut the fuck up, man. You're just mad because you bombing, threw the lemon wedge at me. I couldn't recover. Bombing is about losing control of the room. It's not about the jokes not working. It's about you losing control of the room.
Yeah.
I couldn't recover.
Just had to take that lemon wedge?
Take the fucking, this shit sat on the floor while I tried to finish my set. Like the fucking lemon wedge was like, nigga. Like,
lemon wedge looking up at you like, come on, man.
Bruh, you gotta do something. Squirt me in this motherfucking eye or something. I had nothing. I was so green, I didn't know, what to do. But I didn't know how to verbally attack this motherfucker. I was like, I want to fight him, but that, we in a white comedy club and like that probably wouldn't be the way to go.
Okay.
I don't want to get banned. I just got in. I was in Harlem once. I got booed, and then it was a festival going on outside. So I get booed off the stage, and the show's over, and everybody's still hanging out outside for hours after the show. So even an hour later, people are like, "Yo, that's the dude right there. He sucks." So I got booed for like 4 hours, basically. I get on the train going back to Brooklyn. It's people on the train that were at the show. Like, yo, that's my man right there. It was fucking awful. I got booed from borough to borough. It was bad, man. It was bad. That's why I have such thick skin now. Because I'm like, it can't get worse than this. Both times, the thing that I took away from it was like, yo, I was so excited being up there that I know I have to do this. Most people would have just said, fuck this after that.
Okay, and I remember you talked about on Matt Hoffa's show how you asked your brother for 5 favors, and he said no to all 5 of them.
Yes, I remember them all vividly as well. I'm a cancer, bro. I remember.
Can you name me some of the favors he said no for?
Because look, okay, I could, but keep in mind, I was a child. It meant a lot to me at the time. Mm-hmm. So I saved my allowance up. I wanted a pair of light blue shell-toe Adidas. I had the money to get them. He had just got his first car. I said, hey, can you please drive me downtown Brooklyn to Albee Square Mall to get a pair of blue shell-toe Adidas? He's sitting on the stoop talking to some girl. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Go take the train downtown and go get your sneakers, man. People getting robbed on the train left and right. I'm gonna be on the train by myself with a pair of brand new Adidas. Come on, man, can you just drive me downtown? Get out of here, man. So like I was saying, baby, you know what I'm saying? Like we gonna go dinner later on. I'm like, this dude's a sucker, man. Like, this is a sucker move right here.
Yeah.
And I've just never forgot it. I was really upset about that.
Okay, so you're now starting to work the comedy circuit, and you're hitting up every comedy club in New York.
Yes. The goal was to be a paid regular at every club in New York.
Yes. Yes.
If I wasn't gonna work, I had to make sure I was making enough money to sustain myself.
Now, at one point you went up to Montreal?
I did the Montreal Comedy Festival.
Yes.
I was one of the breakout acts that year. I got offered a holding deal by UPN at the time. Now it's WB.
Right. And that's when you came to LA?
Yes, because I did the Montreal Comedy Festival. I was in the New Faces category. I did my first, you do 2 shows that weekend. After my first show, an exec at Fox was there and she said, I need you in LA Monday morning. So I came to LA. I was always told you don't go to LA until they invite you to LA. Don't just up and go to LA with nobody knowing in the industry that you're coming.
Oh yeah,
your cousin knowing you're coming is one thing.
First time I moved to LA, I gave up after 6 months. LA will chew you up.
Listen, your fucking best friend knowing that you're coming does nothing for your career.
Yes.
The industry has to know that you're coming.
Correct.
So I waited until I got the, hey, I need you in LA Monday morning. Now we're going to LA.
Yes.
And I came out with meetings set up, auditions set up. I hit the ground running. As opposed to guys that just, I'm funny in Cleveland, I'm moving to LA tomorrow. Bruh, nobody know you coming.
Yep. Was your first job a correspondent on BattleBots?
In the industry?
Yeah.
No, I actually hosted a show in New York called Can You Tell? No, it was called Can You Tell? On
Can You Tell was 2003. The BattleBots thing I think was 2000.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Well, then I was still in New York.
Aha. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe BattleBots.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Me, Carmen Electra, and Arj Barker.
It's interesting.
You have both. You knew Carmen Electra and you knew Arj Barker. Everybody's like, who the fuck is this black dude? And they flew me to the Bay. They shot that in the Bay.
Aha.
Yeah.
My hometown.
That was a great experience.
Right. Because then in 2003 you did Can You Tell?
Can You Tell? Yes. Yes.
And then
that was in New York.
That was in New York. And then you were on a show called All of Us.
Yes.
That starred Will Smith.
He EP'd. Him and Jada EP'd it.
Yeah, him and Jada
were executive producers. It was based loosely on Will's life.
Aha.
The divorce from the first wife, courting the second wife. It was that time of his life was the sitcom.
Okay, and you played the main role, or?
No, I played the main character's best friend.
Aha. But still a prominent role.
Oh, yeah.
On the show.
I was the funny guy.
What was it like to be on a real show at that point?
It was fucking incredible. It was incredible. Like everything about it was incredible. The whole process of auditioning for it. I was at the Laugh Factory one night doing a set. I got off stage and the host that night said, hey man, you know Monica Swan? I'm like, no. She's a casting director. She's big. She's in the room. She wants to meet you. And I get off stage and she comes over like, I walk over to her and she says, hey, are you auditioning for anything right now? And I'm like, well, I'm getting auditions here and there. I was living on like a friend's couch, but I was out there because it was pilot season. And she's like, you know, Will and Jada are doing this pilot that I think you'd be perfect for this character. And she sent me the sides and I went home to work with my acting teacher to prepare, and then came back and auditioned for it and got it.
Okay, so you're doing the show that Will and Jada are executive producing.
Yes.
How involved were they in the show?
Oh, they were there all the time.
Every day?
They were there all the time, yeah.
Okay, so what was the relationship you had with Will and Jada?
Super cool.
Super cool.
Super cool.
Any interesting stories during this time?
I remember, like, Will was on the other side. Like, he wasn't a suit. He was on that side now, but he wasn't a suit. So he still understood the artist point of view. So we would just do cool shit like, you know, like lunchtime, like everybody, whatever you want for lunch. Like, everybody gets whatever they want for lunch. It's like, you guys don't have to eat what they prepare. Like, you can have this and you can get that. I'll send my guys out to get you guys whatever you want. On Fridays, he would have like a ice cream truck pull up to the set, or, you know, a truck would pull up with pizzas, and it was like some cool shit to do because it's his show and he had the money. It was like, yo, and I know the artist side of it. So that was super cool. Rap parties were always epic. He put me in the movie Hitch. I was in the movie Hitch. I had 3 scenes in the movie Hitch with Will. And then when I got to the premiere, that day I got to the premiere of the movie, and he said, oh shit, I forgot to tell you, your scenes are cut out the movie.
All 3 were cut.
All 3, but I still got paid.
Okay. Right, because All of Us went on for 4 seasons?
4 seasons.
Okay, so that was a good experience for you.
A great experience.
Yeah. So then 2 years later, after you started All of Us, 2005, Chris Rock puts together Everyone Hates Chris. And the Drew character is based on you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Cooler, younger, flyer. You know, an honor to be immortalized in a television character.
Then in 2007, you were in Three Can Play That Game.
Yes.
With Will Packer, who put that together.
Yes. Shot that in Atlanta. Yeah, it was a good summer. That was a great summer.
Yeah, Will Packer, cool dude, man. I met up with him before. That's a legend.
Yeah, that was a good summer.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
And then that next year, the Tony Rock Project comes out.
Yes.
Your own sketch comedy TV series.
Yes.
Now this is
not one of the highlights of my career.
Okay, because this was a big chance, right? I mean, a sketch comedy show named after you. It could be the next Chappelle show, right?
Okay, so I went into it wanting to push the envelope and do very racy things, which the Chappelle show turned out to be. So I would watch the Chappelle show and say, I wanted to do shit like that. But when I would take the meetings beforehand, I would always get shot down. Every idea I had was like, nah, you can't do that. You can't say that. You can't imply that. You can't do this. I was so dejected that I called my agent at one point and said, hey, I don't want to do the show. Like, let's not even do this deal. Because they limited me. They handcuffed me, and I know going forward, it's not going to be what I want it to be. Then they came back and offered me more money and then said, you can even name it the Tony Rock Show or the Tony Rock, put your name on it. So it was the one time and the one time only in my career that I did something for the check. And I have regretted it.
Okay.
Ever since. So I've never done something for the check since that day.
How big of a check was it?
It was pretty big.
6 figures?
High 5.
Okay.
High 5.
Okay. Okay, so that just goes one season and then...
Yeah. But my castmates were Whitney Cummings and John Heffron.
Okay.
2 of my friends still to this day.
There we go. Because then a few years later, you were in Think Like a Man.
Yeah, what? Wait, did you miss the funny spot? The funny spot.
Yeah.
Funny spot.
So the funny spot came in between there?
I think so. If it's not...
No, it's not in my notes.
Okay, so funny spot, I was in a pitch meeting at... not BET. What's the other BET? What's the other BET?
UPN?
No. Why am I not remembering the network? Anyway, I'm in a pitch meeting, and in the pitch meeting, I say, hey, how about this? And they buy the show right there. TV1.
TV1. There we go.
Yeah, so I'm in a pitch meeting with TV1. I'm in a pitch meeting with TV1, and I say, I'm like pitching a different idea, and they kind of like, we don't know. You got anything else? And I go, well, how about this? And I pitch the idea, and they buy it in the room.
Okay, because Deion Cole's in it.
Deion Cole, TK was on the show.
Oh, TK Kirkland was on it.
It was a comedy show.
Aha. Okay.
But the twist was at the end of the comedy show, we bring the comics back out and the audience can ask the comics questions because everybody, to this day, everybody knows comics, but everybody doesn't know the comic. So if you can ask a comic a question, that's like, I always felt like that was something, a thing we were missing in stand-up comedy, to be able to ask a comic a question that can be funny or not, just to get some insight into comedy.
But it only went for one season.
It did.
So now you got 2 shows that you're kind of starring in.
2 shows EP'd, created by me.
Yeah.
Now my credits are over here, not just over here. Yeah. No, it don't matter. My credits are over here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. There you go. So then in 2012, you're in Think Like a Man.
Yes.
Now, didn't you talk about how Steve Harvey is, because it's based on Steve Harvey's book.
Yes.
About how to keep a good relationship. And he's on his 3rd wife, and his current wife was the mistress to his 2nd wife.
We all know what I said. That does not mean my acting didn't get me the role in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm a good actor, man. It got me a role.
Right. Yeah. I mean, relationship advice from Steve.
I wouldn't take it, but
you got to take it with a grain of salt.
You got to take it with a grain of salt.
Hey, you made a lot of money off of it. Made a lot of money off the book, off the movie.
Hey, listen, my relationship book is coming soon. If that's the lane comics going in, let's go. Let's get it. I love it.
And it was around this time we started hosting Apollo Live?
Yes. Another great opportunity that came to me from being on stage. I was at the Laugh Factory again, one night at the Laugh Factory, hosting. Jamie Foxx is in the audience, in the balcony. I'm killing. I get a phone call the next day. I don't know Jamie Foxx. I know who he is, but I don't know him. Understand what I'm saying? I get a phone call the next day. Phone keeps ringing. It's the same number I don't recognize. I don't answer numbers I don't recognize. It keeps calling. I'm like, maybe it's somebody calling me from a different number that's really trying to get to me. Answer the phone. What up? Hey, Rock. What's good? It's Fox. I have a homie, my right-hand man, Joe Fox from Dallas. I call him Fox Boogie. So I was like, yo, Rock, it's Fox. I'm like, Fox Boogie? Yeah. Oh, what's up, man? Yo, come to the house. I want to talk to you about something. My man Joe Fox at the time had never invited me to his house, so that just sounded weird as fuck. Who this? It's Fox. I'm like, this ain't fucking Fox. I hang up the phone. He calls back. I'm like, hello? Yo, Rock, it's Fox. Yo, this is Fox Boogie. Yeah. Come to the house. I'm working on something. I want to talk to you about it. Yo, who this, man? I hang up again. About 10 minutes later, he calls, Rock, it's Jamie Foxx. I'm like, oh shit, I thought you was Joe Fox. He's like, nah, yo, come to the house. I want to talk to you about some stuff I'm working on. Assuming that I had been to his house before, because everybody apparently was going to Jamie Foxx's house for parties and all type of shit. I had never been, so I'm like, all right, send me the address. And he just thought that was the craziest thing. Like, you never been to my house before? I'm like, nah. And he's like, why have you never been to my house before? And I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Bed-Stuy to the day I die. It's not a New York thing for us to go to somebody's house uninvited.
Yeah.
So he's like, yo, why have you never been to my house before? And I go, oh, nigga, because you never invited me. I'm not gonna walk in your house because a group of people are going. I'm not gonna be with a group of people and you're like, who the fuck invited him? Never. Every fight party, somebody's like, yo, let's go to Eddie Murphy's house. He's having a fight party. Okay, well, when Eddie calls me, I'll go. I'm not gonna be in a group of people that he's like, who the fuck invited this dude? I gotta be the dude that go, yo, we want him here in all things. So I drove to his house and he's like, I'm bringing back Apollo. You're the new host, and hands me a job.
Oh, so he was the executive producer of it.
Him and Marcus King, yeah. And that went for 2 seasons.
Yeah, and Apollo.
And I got to go home to shoot a show.
Yeah.
So that was beyond amazing.
Yeah, I remember when one of the Apollo shows I went to, that crowd was so vicious that they booed one of the professional comedians.
Happens.
The professional comedian.
Because nobody's...
The host had to come back out and said, listen,
but,
please don't boo him. He's not one of the acts.
No, to them, nobody's a professional.
Out here.
To them, nobody's a professional.
Yes.
To them, everybody could get it.
Yes.
Unless they listen to you at home on the radio, you ain't a professional.
Yeah.
So whoever that guy was, so he has credits, I don't give a fuck. Bring him out.
Well, that next year, 2014, that's when you and I first met. You were doing Russell Simmons' All Def Comedy show.
Yes.
And I had just appeared on Love and Hip Hop. And I was sitting in the front row with my security. And you were like, I see you, Vlad. Who's the cameraman? And you
was in the room trying to chill. I'm like, nah, you can't just sit here incognito.
Nah. Right, because I had just interviewed, I just did a cameo on Love and Hip Hop where they asked me to interview Mimi and
Stevie J?
Nico.
Oh, this is after the sex tape.
Yeah, because they had just done a sex tape.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, why don't you interview about the sex tape? So I'm interviewing about the sex tape, and then I'm like, who's the cameraman? And they're like, there's no cameraman. I'm like, the camera's moving. I mean, there is a camera.
Yeah.
Oh, that must have been us. No, come on, who's the cameraman?
Yeah.
And they just kept trying to deny there's a cameraman.
Yes, I remember that.
It became a moment.
Yes, I vividly remember that.
And then you became the host of All Def Comedy.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you were already the host, actually.
I hosted the local weekly show in LA on Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when HBO said we're going to bring it back to HBO, I was, of course, the lock.
I remember you did this whole routine because I remember that night Russell had brought Norman Lear.
Yes.
Into the audience.
He brought everybody out, man. Yeah. Russell did. He brought.
Shout out to Russell. That's my man. I
talk to him all the time. He really helped my career.
In the Valley right now. And I remember he had you do this routine about the cutting off of the heads. How did that one go?
I'm not going to do it now. You got to pay a lot of money to see that joke. But it was about women being so argumentative that in certain scenarios they would put themselves in danger.
Right.
Because they wouldn't be quiet.
Like in the Middle East.
Right. Yeah. Like you cannot talk to them. I don't give a fuck. Like you'd be in trouble.
I remember you actually did a skit about arguing with black girls.
I did that one on it was a show Russell did in New York before All Def that JB was hosting.
Yes.
It was called the Ruckus. And I did that set there. Yeah, that killed.
Yeah, I remember. And you, like I'm watching it and you're like, for those of you who've never been in a relationship with a black woman, you just don't know what it's like to argue. And most of my life I've been in relationships with black women. So I'm watching this going like, this is so true.
No, I started the set with, hey, I usually start my set. I said, when I do a set, my set has a theme to it. It's a theme that I try to follow through the entire set. This set is dedicated to black women. And they just went crazy. And I was like, because y'all motherfuckers, and they all, that it took off right there.
Yeah, you said that black women will change their outfit before they argue with you. And they said they'll do that stare.
Oh yeah, that was a good bit. That was a good bit.
Yeah, man, you killed it on that. Okay.
I got some quotables.
Absolutely. Was it right around that time that you and Bow Wow had some sort of weird beef?
Bro, that was so like weird. It was on Twitter. I tweeted. I used to watch, this is what I used to do. I used to watch Love and Hip Hop because Mona Scott is a friend of mine. Mona Scott is the homie, right? So I would watch Love and Hip Hop. She would actually call me like, yo, you watching? I'm watching, Mona. And I would tweet as I'm watching. Like something funny happened, I would just tweet. Yo, I can't believe so-and-so. And people every week were like, yo, Tony Rock need to be on the show. Tony Rock's commentary is so funny and we love what Tony Rock's doing with the show. I was like an unofficial host of the show, in so to speak. And I tweeted something. Now, backstory. Me and my friends always say, you haven't been in love until you've been in love with the wrong woman.
True.
If you're in love with the right girl, it's easy to love the right girl.
Yeah.
Right? Love the wrong motherfucker. That's when your love is tested.
Oh, yeah.
So I tweeted something like, man, you ain't been in love until you've been in love with a hoe. He responds like, yeah, when I see you, cuz, implying
He's a
affiliation.
Right. And
That's
Bow
why
Wow was dating Erica Mena.
Yeah, that's why we just started laughing like, okay, you can say whatever you want to say. Everybody can respond to my tweets. I'm tweeting to the world.
Yeah.
Everybody has the right to respond to what I'm saying. But that response, my guys just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Then they my boys started teasing me about it. And I'm like, it wasn't going to go anywhere. I got love for Bow Wow. It was nothing.
Right, there was a rumor that...
Then I saw Erica, everything
Bow
else...
Wow sent his goons to go see you or something.
Rumor.
Right.
And then Mena was at the show one night, all deaf. And I was like, yo, Erica Mena's in the building. And she was like, yeah, nigga, I know you hate me. And I was like, nah, yo, it's all love. Like, it's just jokes. I was just joking. Me and my guys, that's how we joke. And I said it in a tweet. And we was cool. It was like, that shit was like that. The next 5 seconds later, we was both like that.
Yeah, you're lucky because Erica Mena's put them hands on you. She's big, too.
What do you mean big?
Like, she's tall.
She ain't taller than me.
Nah, well, with heels, she probably is your height.
Stop.
I've been around her. I've interviewed Erica Mena. She's like 6 feet tall.
Listen. Let's not give her any gas.
There was a video
Let's not
of
give her any
her
gas.
beating up her baby daddy. Literally, like beating him up.
Well, sorry for that guy. Let's not give her any fuel. Think I'm saying anything negative. We've been through there. We've been there. We've done that. Erica Mena, I got love for you.
There we go. Then in 2015, you were in Man and Wife.
Yeah.
How's that?
That was a great time, man. Shot in Atlanta. David Mann, Tamala Mann, so fun to work with, so cool, so down to earth. They made everything like really easy to do. Roger Bob wrote that, directed it. Super fun.
And how many seasons did that go?
I believe we did 2. We did 1 we shot in LA, and then we did 1 we shot in Atlanta.
Well, you and Charlie Murphy.
Yeah, may he rest in peace.
Rest in peace. I was cool with Charlie, man. Real good dude.
Yeah.
Real good dude. I got to interview him a couple times, actually, before he passed. At one point, there was a situation between the two.
There was a situation in Long Island. Yeah. We did a show in Long Island. I forgot who else was on the show. It was like 4 people on the show. Charlie and I were supposed to be the last 2. Supposed to be me and then Charlie. And my brother called me and said, hey, man, don't be surprised if they change the lineup. And I get to the venue, which I don't mind. I don't have a problem with, as long as my money's the same, I don't care. I know I've seen too many times comics argue about the lineup and who's going in what order. Yo, bro, I don't care. Just give me my money. Like, I'm gonna still have the same set. But I had did all the work the week prior, all the press with him the week prior, leading up to the show. So we gave the impression that it was us 2 co-headlining the show. And his picture on the flyer was bigger. Mine was second, as far as like whose headshot was bigger.
Right.
So it gave the impression.
To be fair, I just want to stop you for a second. Charlie Murphy, honestly, if we were just to be 100, he made the Chappelle Show. He became a real star after the Chappelle Show. I would say the Chappelle Show wouldn't be remembered the way it was if it wasn't for the biggest skits.
I would agree with that.
The Rick James skit, and you know what I'm saying, and the Prince skit.
I would absolutely agree with that.
Was the biggest thing to ever happen. So he was really like coming into his own. It was great to see him actually.
Yes, but this is what happened. But this is what happened in Long Island. I'm not saying he wasn't supposed to be the headliner. He was supposed to headline.
Okay.
But it was supposed to be. I forgot who the first 2 comics were. Then me, then him. And I get there, and they got me moved up in the show, and my time cut. So now that's a problem. I did all the work, I did all the press, I did all the New York run, we did radio, we did Good Morning, Good Day New York, we did everything together, given the impression that we were co-headlining. But then I get there and it's like, yo, your time is cut from 20 minutes to 10, and you're first or second, not fourth, you know what I mean? And it was like, oh, well, that's not gonna fly. I'm home. Long Island still, I'm from Brooklyn, but that's close enough. And I had my guys with me, so I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do my time, I'm gonna do the 20 I was supposed to do originally. And if anybody tried to come on stage and stop me, y'all just hold me down. And it turned into a thing.
Did you and him get into an argument or?
No, it was no argument. I said something and then the New York Daily News was there, ironically enough. They wrote an article the next day and we just didn't talk for a long time. And then one day he called me and was like, I want to clear the air and everything. And we had a great conversation and that was that.
Yeah, like 5 days later, he passed away.
No, not 5 days. No.
Okay.
It was years, maybe a year later.
Okay, a year later.
Yeah.
Okay, I got
maybe even longer than that. But yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a good dude. And I remember this is probably something you could relate to. I remember I interviewed him. Real cool dude, man. Real down to earth.
Right.
You know, and I remember he was like, "Hey, man, I gotta switch the time, but I just don't want you to think that, you know, I'm on some Hollywood shit because I'm not on that shit. You know what I mean? I'm still gonna do it. You know, so after the interview, he's like, yo, come see me tonight. I'm performing in the city. I forgot who it was. It might have been Caroline's. I think him and Donnell Rawlings were like on tour
definitely
together.
Caroline's. Definitely Caroline's.
Yeah. And I remember he did this bit, right? Which you could relate to here. He was like, yeah, man, you know, I'm hanging out with Donnell Rawlings. And Donnell comes up to me one day all pissed off, like, hey, man, everywhere we go, Charlie Murphy. Don't you get sick of that shit? He's like, no, motherfucker, my name's been Eddie Murphy's brother my whole life.
I can relate.
It's true.
I can
relate.
relate.
You can relate.
I can relate.
Because you've been
you know what's funny?
Chris Rock's brother your whole life.
I've been Chris Rock's brother my whole life,
Yeah.
but I get now, I'm in the airport, I'm at anywhere. And it's like, hey, yo, man, you Chris Rock's brother. And I go, hey, man, I got a name. And they'll go, yeah, you Tony Rock, right? And I'm like, well, nigga, if you knew that, why was the lead? Why can't the lead be my fucking name?
Okay. And then in 2018, you were in Living Biblically?
Yes, CBS, big money. That's
money.
when the big bucks came in.
Was that the biggest check you got for TV at that point?
Oh, no. I'm just saying my weekly pay was bigger than all of us.
Okay. How long did that last?
It was a mid-season replacement, and we did 13 episodes, and that was that. It was based on the book, The Year of Living Biblically, about a guy that tried to live his actual life 100% according to the Bible in today's society.
Huh.
And he wrote a book about it. And Johnny Galicki commissioned it, turned it into a script. It was a great script. It was a great show. But I just don't think people were ready for the Bible in their face every week on a sitcom.
Well, I remember right around that time, Monique had the whole Netflix boycott thing that she was pushing.
Yeah, that was a little bit after that, but yeah, I remember.
A little bit
that.
after that.
Yeah.
And I remember you talked about that.
Listen, I'm a grown man, okay? If somebody asks me a question in an interview, I'm going to answer it honestly.
Yeah.
I wasn't picking on her. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful at all. I got a tremendous amount of respect for any comic that ever touched a microphone. I just don't count other people's money. I've never been that person to be like, how much they get. So when they were like, she thinks she deserves to get more, I'm like, well, I don't know what her pocket looked like. I don't know what this person's getting. I don't do that. I don't care to concern myself with somebody else's money. And something in that was disrespectful, was taken as disrespect, and she commented on it. But I still stand by that. I don't count anybody else's money.
What did she say?
I forgot. I didn't give it a second thought.
Yeah,
I just knew she had a problem with me saying like, you know, I don't count people's money. Sometimes I really don't remember it because I was like, I don't dwell on shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my own issues with primarily Monique's husband.
Never met him.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I met him. I might have.
We did an interview around this time because remember we talked about this specifically.
Uh-huh.
Her and her husband did the interview together. They were literally holding each other the entire time. I don't mean like every so often. No, the entire time they had both their arms around each other.
Black love.
Did a real dope interview. When I gave him the release form in the beginning, he said, hey, man, I just want my lawyer to look at it, but don't worry about it. We got you. Don't worry about it. And usually I'm like, oh, I don't know. But he was like, no, I got you. No big deal. Lawyer came back 2 weeks later and had modified the contract to say that they own the content.
Oh, wow.
And they'll let me use it for a year.
Well, shit, I should have had my lawyer look at my release before I signed it.
So this started a beef that's been going on for 6 years, man.
Wait, is that how people end up having problems with you? Is that they sign the release and then they realize later on that they...
No one's ever had problems with me over this.
Okay.
No one's ever asked to own my footage.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I don't remember what happened with her that time. It was something I said was misconstrued as disrespect, but I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
And I still don't count anybody's pockets. The only checks that I concern myself with are the ones that say my name on them.
Was it me and D.L. Hughley are like real close. We're actually neighbors. And you talked about the whole thing about who goes first. Remember that whole beef with them?
Yeah.
Spilled out over.
Yeah, but they had
who's the headliner?
He had receipts.
Yes.
Can't argue with receipts, right?
Yeah, man. Listen, when I talk to people like T.K. Kirkland, They're like, I don't care who goes on first, whatever. If this is the promoter, he's paying. If I'm getting the same check that we agreed on,
bro,
you want me to go on first, last, middle, however much time?
I've been
who
on
cares?
shows with the headliner didn't want a headline. I've been on shows like, hey man, it's getting too late. It's too many comics. I don't want to close. Bro, I don't care. I'll close like whatever y'all want to do. I'm happy to be working.
Exactly. You and Lavelle Crawford had some issues at one point?
Water under the bridge.
Water under the bridge.
Listen, you're going to have a bunch of those on there because if somebody says something, I'm going to say something back.
Yeah.
That's what, all you're reading is somebody said this and I said something back.
Yes.
So.
Well, I remember right around that time you said everybody cheats on the Kardashians. I think it was the whole Tristan, Khloe thing that was happening.
What did I say? Wait, what? Give me my quote. What did I say?
Everybody cheats on the Kardashians. You just smash a couple times and you get out. Who's been loyal to a Kardashian? Like, for real.
I need to shut the fuck up sometimes. I think my life would be so much easier if I just be like, hey, man, I don't know. I got to start to saying just God bless him.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, everybody...
But with that said, has anyone seen Chris Humphries?
No.
Anybody?
Yeah, we actually tried to reach out to him for an interview. He just disappeared. I mean, there's the Kardashian curse.
Shit, he got it.
I remember when I interviewed, what's his name? Lamar Odom. I talked about that. And he goes, well, he said, people say that, but put a camera in any family's life and film everything they do, and you're going to have a fairly similar situation.
I don't think so.
I kind of didn't think so either.
I don't think so. Lamar. I don't think so.
Not everyone ends up in a brothel overdosing.
I beg to differ. I don't think my mother would pimp my daughter, my sister like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
well, it's Lamar Odom. God bless him. I'm starting right now. God bless him.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar Odom canceled on me 3 times last minute.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's the homie, too.
I'm not going to say he's still a crackhead, but it's definitely crackhead behavior. The way he'd been canceling on me, like literally, it'd be like 2 hours before. Multiple times.
God bless him.
I call him Lamar Odom these days, so you know. It is
God bless him.
Well, 2022.
220. Okay,
We're jumping around.
Go. Now we modern day.
The Oscars. Your brother's presenting an award. And he makes a joke about Jada. It was a G.I. Jane joke. Because G.I. Jane had, a shaved head.
Right.
Jada shows up with a shaved head.
G.I. Jane had a shaved head. G.I. Jane was empowering.
Yes.
G.I. Jane made, gave women's lib a shot in the arm. That's what who G.I. Jane was.
Now, the backstory between Chris Rock and Will Smith is a little hazy. Was there some sort of tension between the two from what you knew?
No.
No.
Not from what I know, no. And I would have known. Not from what I knew, but I would have known. Again, I have had the best seat the entire time. I would have known. I worked with this man for 4 years on a sitcom. I would have known.
Yeah. Because, later on, Chris talked about in his special, his Netflix special about, I guess Jada wanted him to boycott the Oscars.
The year he was hosting, right.
Yeah, the year he was hosting.
The year he was
because Will didn't get nominated for, what movie was it? The movie about the CTE or something.
Oh, Concussion?
Concussion. It was something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Concussion. Yeah, it was Concussion. Yeah.
So they're saying there might have been some tension over that. But then again, I mean, you can't really ask someone to boycott, and not take a job just because their husband or wife has some sort of issue with the committee. I mean, that's just not realistic.
Thank you.
So, like I said, I don't quite know the backstory between the two and if there was any tension.
But even if that was tension, that was, 2 years prior?
Yeah.
Y'all motherfuckers couldn't have had a conversation in 2 years? In 2 years, y'all was sitting on that for 2 years, you telling me? Mm-hmm. He hosted in 2020, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, or maybe 2019. But backstory, I don't watch the Oscars. I don't fuck with the Oscars.
Yeah.
Only because every year great black movies come out that the Oscars don't acknowledge. So every year I don't watch the Oscars. Mm-hmm. Even the years my brother has hosted, the running joke in my household is everybody's gonna be glued to the TV except for Tony. Mm-hmm. I don't support the Oscars. I didn't know about the slap until 40 minutes after that shit happened.
Right. So Chris Rock is presenting an award. He makes a comment. He makes a joke about G.I. Jane. Will Smith walks on stage.
Will Smith laughs at the joke.
He laughs at the joke, but Jada doesn't look very happy.
But Will Smith laughs at the joke.
Will Smith laughed. Now, the interesting thing about this particular moment is because I read Jada's book. At that point, they had been separated for years. They weren't living together. They were not a couple. They came together, but they were not an actual married couple at that point. Will Smith storms the stage, and you think it's just a little Kanye moment. Like, I'm going to let you finish, but, G.I. Jane was the best movie of all time or something, And he drops the mic and walks off, but he actually assaults your brother on stage.
Yes.
Your phone is blowing up.
Yes.
It's all over social media. So although you're not watching the show, it's very easy to find this clip.
Okay, I'm not watching the show. I'm in the house watching basketball, and my phone goes crazy. My entire family lives on the East Coast. In the black household, when the phone goes crazy, somebody's dead, somebody's shot. There is a serious problem. Mm-hmm. So the phone's ringing crazy. And I'm thinking, damn, my mother. Something happened to my mother. Now I'm afraid to answer the phone. Fuck, man. I'm not ready for how heavy this phone call is about to be. Mm-hmm. And my baby brother Jordan calls me. And now I got to answer for him because I'm big bro to him. He need me to be strong for him. I answer the phone and he goes, yo, was that shit real? And I'm like, what shit real? You didn't see that shit? Like, see what shit? You're not watching the Oscars? I'm like, yeah, I know I don't fucking watch the Oscars. And he's like, I'm gonna send you the clip. So it was actually, oddly enough, a relief that my brother got smacked in the face. Because I thought something, had happened to my mother. Mm. So it was actually, oh, that's just it, that's it. This is fine. I thought there was a problem with mommy. This is nothing. Now I have to address this. First I got out of the panic mode that my mother was in trouble. Once she was fine, it was like, okay, now I got to address this. Then I turned into brother mode,
Okay. The slap happens. Will goes back to his seat and says, keep my wife's fucking name out your mouth.
Yeah, he turned into a real nigga that night.
Now, once again, according to Jada's book, she was shocked for a couple of reasons. Number one, she didn't know if it was real or not. Number two, Will had not addressed her as his wife in years. So she's like a little surprised as to why he would say that. And Chris literally said, Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me. Takes a big man to admit that, right? Hey, with the whole world watching.
How can't you admit it? Everybody just saw it.
Yeah.
It don't take much to admit it. The world saw it. Now, what's not to admit?
Knowing your brother, and remember, we talked about the bullying. His skull fractured. He's not a big guy.
At all.
He's like 5'10", 5'9".
Maybe, yeah.
But skinny.
Super skinny.
Super skinny. Will Smith is a big, muscular...
Like he said, significantly bigger.
Significantly bigger. He even said in his stand-up how you never see it with his shirt off in a movie. He said, even if he was in a movie getting an operation, he'd have a sweater on.
If I was in a movie getting open heart surgery, I'd have a
sweater on. Right. How much of it, knowing your brother the way you do. And look, we've all had childhood trauma. We've all lost fights in high school and we've gotten jumped and everything else like that. But once you become famous and you have bodyguards and you have security and, people love you, you're not used to people putting hands on you, people touching you, whatever else. How traumatic.
Especially in that forum.
In that forum.
In that forum, it's not even not used to in that forum. In that forum, it's unheard of.
Yes.
In
never
that forum,
before.
It has never in the history of the Oscars
been.
What's the second closest outrageous thing that has happened at the Oscars to that?
Well,
you don't even know because it's unheard of.
Right. I mean, the Kanye moment at the VMAs, maybe. Like the Kanye moment at the VMAs might have been the...
That's not the Oscars.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying the Oscars.
That's some
There has never been something.
Source awards type
There has
shit.
never in the history of the Oscars been a moment like that.
Yes, there probably never will be.
Oh, there will be again. There'll be another one.
Give it some time.
I'm just not nominated yet. It will be. It's gonna trump the shit out of that one.
Okay. Knowing your brother, though, how traumatic do you think was that, considering what he went through with bullying?
No, it wasn't. No. It was knowing my brother the way I know my brother. He wanted to fight.
Okay.
The bullying and all that shit, that's youth. My brother's far from a sucker. He's far from a dude that's gonna like just get hit and turn the other cheek and all that shit. That was because where he was. I'm sure that shit would have happened on Fulton Street. It would have been a totally different story.
And to be fair, right? Because I had somewhat of a similar situation happen to me once. I remember I was in a bar with my girlfriend at the time. We were in San Francisco, a real high-end, one of these rooftop bar, hotel type things. I go to the bar to get a drink for my girl, and there's an Asian girl there, and she's like drunk, and she's like, "Oh, I like the way you look." And I said, "Thank you." And she just smacks me.
Oh, wow.
And I'm surrounded by dudes with suits and stuff like that. I just grab my drink and go back. Told my girl, some girl just smacked the shit out of me. And I didn't know how to react.
Right.
What am I supposed to do? Punch her? She's a girl.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everyone's like, yeah, man, if Will Smith did this to me, I would have smacked the shit. No, you don't know what you would do when you're completely not ready for a situation and suddenly you get assaulted out of nowhere. And you can't really act out, so you have to sometimes just take your licks.
Everybody got they if it was me to everything.
But what I'm saying is that's just bullshit.
Everybody has a if it was me to everything.
Yeah.
People watch sports, man. If that was me, I would have.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't have.
You don't know what the fuck you would have did. You don't know what you would have did.
No, you just don't know.
You don't know what you would have did.
The weird part about this, though, is that usually when you assault somebody in a public place, you get escorted out of the building. Yeah,
that's the part that was weird. Well, you do realize this was the first year that they let a black production company run the whole thing.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, Will Packer's, his team, they did it that year. They produced it that year.
Okay.
So maybe they didn't know decorum. They didn't know the protocol. Maybe they didn't care to know the protocol.
Listen, wait. Will Packer's a professional.
No, listen.
Right?
Maybe they didn't care to know the protocol because it was Will Smith. So it was like, if we got to sacrifice, we're going to let Will stay. Chris just got to take that. Will's bigger, right? Will is nominated for an Oscar coming up later on in the show. We need him here. We are producing this show. We need him to be in that chair when he wins that Oscar.
Do we, though?
That's might have been their logic. Like, yo, this is our first year doing this. We need everything. We need these moments to be magical.
Maybe they were scared of Will.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe if we try to get him out of there, he might smack us.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Like, you went out
if it's your first year, that's the stuff you think about.
Yeah, if you produce maybe it's gonna be more of a.
If you produce the Oscars every year,
to get him out, yeah.
If you produce the Oscars every year, you like get him the fuck out of here, yo.
Yeah.
We know how to run this.
Yeah.
But if it's your first year, you're like, shit, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know if Will Packer was asked to do any more Oscars after that.
I don't know. I don't know.
Right, but the fact that
I do know I saw everybody else go comfort Will, and nobody said anything to my brother.
Well, yeah, because Will was allowed to stay in his seat, and then he was nominated for an award, and he won, and he got to take the stage as if nothing had happened.
And then said, the devil is always trying to get you. Even on some fucking bullshit, like even on your highest stage, the devil's still trying to get you. Get the fuck out of here, bruh.
Yeah.
It was a fucking joke. You laughed at it.
Yeah.
Your wife gave you a side eye. You said, all right, let me do something. The devil after you. The fuck out of here.
Well, look. Just like
and you had smoke for everybody else. You had smoke for when Jada fucking Epstein was fucking August Alsina and everybody was making jokes about it, you ain't have no smoke for nobody.
Yeah.
You have no smoke for nobody. When Jada Kelly was fucking a 16-year-old, your son's best friend, you ain't have no smoke for nobody. that everybody was making jokes about it, and you was the fucking butt of all of these jokes. You ain't have no smoke for nobody. The little guy says G.I. Jane, and now it's, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
And look, like, I have been to a lot of comedy shows. I know that as a public figure, when I'm in the front of the stage, me and whoever I'm with is going to get roasted. Just like how you roasted me 10 years ago.
You still holding on to that?
Nah, I liked it. I got a kick out of it.
If you were in the front row, I'm gonna get you, man.
If you're in the front row of a comedy show, you go get roasted. This is how it works, right?
Especially like people know you, so it's like, oh shit. You have had lengthy arguments with people in this forum right here. That's something that we watch and we're like, I can't wait to talk to that motherfucker.
It's not like you sit in a restaurant, someone walks up to you and your wife and starts harassing you and whatever. Okay, maybe that makes sense to smack somebody in that situation. But you're at a award show with a comedian on stage roasting lots of people, not just you.
And may I add, on the red carpet prior, she was asked about her bald head and said, I love my bald head. I don't care what nobody got to say about my bald head. So you were so empowered on the red carpet, like, oh, I'm wearing it. Like, go, girl. And then he says a joke and it's like, I can't believe he said that. So either you empowered or you fucking don't go because you're worried about what people are going to say. You can't play both sides of the fence. You can't be the victim when earlier before you walked in, you was like, this is see me, love me. Bald head, yeah, let's represent. Girl power. You can't play both sides of the fence. You're either unbelievably distraught about what he said, or you on the red carpet saying, I love it and I don't care what nobody says. This is me. I'm wearing it as a crown. And backstory, we didn't know a fucking thing about no alopecia.
Yeah.
The Rock family, we didn't know shit. I don't know what the fuck y'all knew. We didn't know shit about no alopecia. It was a fucking joke about a bald head. Because everybody want to chime in on their comments like, yeah, because you can't talk about people when they sick. Who the fuck knew about that? Nobody. All these fucking Instagram thugs and fucking Twitter motherfucking warriors, all of a sudden they knew about it beforehand when nobody else did.
Yeah.
You can't play both sides of the fence.
Now, up to this point, you and Will and Jada were cool.
Yes.
Like I said, you would work, on 4 seasons.
Yes.
On all of us.
Yes.
And were you guys keeping in touch
No.
up to this point at all?
No.
But you guys still had a cool, friendly relationship. You run into each other. Oh, shit, what's up? How long after the incident did you actually talk to your brother?
Again, I was watching the game, so I didn't really know about it until like maybe I said 40 minutes, maybe like a half hour later. I found out a half hour after everybody else. So I'd say another half hour after that.
Okay. So you actually call your brother and you talk to him?
No, his assistant called me.
Okay. When do you talk to your brother about this?
Like 10 minutes after that. Talk to the assistant, trying to find out, where y'all at? What's going on? Do I need to pull up? What I have to do? Like, there's no fucking protocol for this shit. Beef in the street. Somebody fucking my brother in the street. Yeah, there's a protocol. Yo, pull up. Let's go.
Yeah.
The Oscars, like, they're not hanging out in the parking lot afterwards. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? People going to places and shit.
You're not gonna randomly run into Will Smith on the block.
You can't just pull up like this, like, yo, my brother got hit. Yeah. So there's no protocol.
Yeah.
His assistant was like, yo, man, he said you was gonna call. Like, he knew you was gonna be upset. Yo, just, be cool.
Okay.
And then he called me like, hey, man, like, I think it was whack. Of course that shit was whack. And, I think he said, like, it wasn't even a good joke. It wasn't even a good joke. You good? I'm good. You good? Yo, just chill, man. I know you're upset. Chill.
Right, because the conversation was it fake or was it real?
Yeah, I didn't.
It was real.
Listen,
it was real.
I ain't pay that shit no mind.
Well, Will Smith claimed that he reached out to Chris.
Cap.
That's a lie.
Cap.
They've never spoken to each other.
Cap. His publicist said say some shit like that. That's the publicist shit. That's the people that pull the strings. You got to say you spoke to him. You got to say he said it was cool. You got to say, all right, fuck it, let's go. I'll say that.
Yeah, but if it's a lie, I mean, it's easy to debunk.
Cap.
Yeah. And, at the time, everyone was mad and, he's canceled. I think he's not allowed to go to the award show for a few years, but he still could be nominated, so he can still win.
Shit. I ain't following that shit.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So, some time passes, and Chris actually has his own stand-up special on Netflix. I actually tried to get him on VladTV to talk about it.
Yo, you text me when that shit happened. Like, yo, come on the show. I was like, pass.
Hey, man, listen. I mean, I had a check. It wasn't going to be a Netflix check, but I had a check. But clearly, he had bigger goals. So
that was the chess move, as opposed to the checkers move. The chess move was everybody wants to hear what I have to say.
Yes,
you will all hear what I have to say. In my time.
Well,
in my forum.
He kind of addressed it because he was on tour at the time.
Yeah.
So he was kind of giving you the little bits and pieces.
Right. But that's what the tour is always like that. The tour is always like bits and pieces until it's tape time, until the camera's on.
Right. So then came the Netflix stand-up Selective Outrage.
Yes.
Where he addressed it all.
Yes.
And he called Jada a bitch.
Okay.
And everyone was like, ooh.
Okay.
I personally think
the guy that got smacked on national television said this bitch, and that's the problem. That's why y'all want to find the problem.
I'd rather be called
y'all
a bitch
find the problem
smacked,
with that.
so,
Yeah,
you know.
That's what y'all want to draw. See that people, you got to pick a side, man. You can't be like offended with that, but not be offended with that.
Oh, listen, man, you call both of them whatever he wants to call them.
Exactly, bitch ass Will. Exactly.
What did you think about the way your brother addressed it in that stand-up?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I knew it was coming. I had seen the entire show. Several cities, but didn't see that last piece because he didn't do that piece at any point in the tour.
Yeah, and he did it live, which was interesting.
And fucked up a line.
Yeah, I remember he kind of stumbled during
a few
little things here and there. Yeah, well, because it's live. And I think you talked about how really the frustration with Will wasn't really about Chris Rock. It was about the whole Tupac situation.
Oh, his frustration.
Will's frustration.
I just feel like at the time I think I said the slap was an accumulation of disrespect that he was, receiving from her. So it was just like, okay, I got to hear about Tupac all the time. He's the love of your life, and now we hear they wasn't even married at the time. So it's probably, and his daughter said I think I wish I would have met Tupac or something like that. Like she said something like that.
Yeah,
I don't want to bring the kids into it, but I know she had said something about like
possibly.
I think my mother really loves Pac or some shit like that, and just that beat down over the course of years takes a toll.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a video of Tupac and Jada doing "Parents Just Don't Understand" at like Great America or something. The whole intersection, and then what? Tupac was supposed to be in Menace to Society originally, and they go back and everything else like that. I mean, listen, I've heard some insane stories about Will and Jada's private life.
I've heard shit.
Insane.
I've heard shit. I used to work with them for 4 years. I heard a bunch of shit.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you some shit after the interview. I don't want to.
Yeah, listen. I hear shit. I'm like, that ain't got shit to do.
What I heard,
that ain't got shit to do with me, man. I'm like, I'm here to work.
I mean, look, me and D.L. Hughley, we talked about this profusely. We talked about the whole thing of, married men sometimes have to accept that their wives have cheated on them, but most don't go on vacation with a guy that's sleeping with your wife. Like, that was just insane to me.
Hey, man. Nah, fuck most. None do that shit. None do that shit.
Well, at one point, Will did drop an apology video. Yeah.
Okay. That's what you want to call it?
Yep. Well, Leslie Jones, she said that Chris Rock went to counseling.
I know. My brother's always been in counseling.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I'm in counseling right now.
He's always been in counseling.
Yeah, so that's normal.
Comes up with some of the best material in counseling.
I mean, after that initial conversation, after it happens, did you and Chris really have a real conversation about it?
No.
Just is what it is.
Listen, I'm the fourth born of Julius Rock and Rose Rock's children. The three brothers ahead of me are the leaders. They say, yo, let's go, we go. They say chill, I chill. They're the fucking colonels and the sergeants and the captain, whatever the hierarchy is. I'm a fucking Navy SEAL, man. Give me my orders, I'm going. I'm number 4 in the lineup. So they say chill, I chill. But that don't mean I can't say anything.
Yeah.
That don't mean I can't open my mouth and say what the fuck I want to say when the fuck I want to say it. You hit my brother, I can say whatever I want to say.
Yeah.
Now you jokes forever. Anything that happened over there in that camp, jokes forever. Well, I'm not letting up.
Well, the new Bad Boys movie's out right now, and from what I understand, there's like a slapping incident in there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Might as well play it up, nigga. Might as well play it up. I wouldn't be surprised. But again, that don't mean I can't say nothing. I'm not like, I'm living my life. My life is fine. My baby's amazing. I'm making a lot of money on tour. The tour is great. The podcast is doing good. I'm enjoying my life. I'm not driving around the streets of West Hollywood at night looking for this motherfucker, right? But that don't mean I can't say shit.
Yeah.
It's like a nigga owing you money, right?
Yeah.
You might be like, I don't even need the money. I'm good. I'm cool. I'm not even thinking about it.
But
I don't forget the fact this nigga owe me money.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, with me, if I feel someone did me dirty, I'll just monetize in my interviews. I'll just talk shit about them. Like the whole Monique and her husband situation. It's like, I lost some money on all the production that we spent on it. But I've made more than that talking about both of y'all over the years.
Yeah.
So that's the way I handle shit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, all right, I'm not looking for this motherfucker, but it's like a nigga that owe you $1,000. You have made $1,000 1 million times. You still but you still owe me $1,000.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll stop talking about you after you pay me back.
Exactly.
I mean, if Will were to walk in right now, what would happen?
We would have a conversation. I hope you got another chair here.
Yeah. If he sat down in the chair right next to you.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to think, and I say this because I've been asked this question a million times, his energy would dictate it. If he came to the door like, nigga, what the fuck I heard you say? All right, well, then that's where we at. We'll address it there. But if it's like, hey, man, let's talk like gentlemen, okay, we do that too.
Yeah.
I could go either way.
We're all grown.
I can be grown or I can not be grown.
Yeah.
It could go either way.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I didn't like it. I publicly said it was some punk shit. Especially because, like I had people like Michael Jai White on my show all the time. And it's like, what would you have done if, Will would have ran up on you? He's like, Vlad, come on. Like,
Dave Chappelle had the best line, man. I don't know what I would have done, but I know what he wouldn't have done. And it wouldn't have been enjoy the rest of his evening.
Yeah.
That's what he would not have done.
Right. And I don't think Will would have done it to somebody his own size. Point blank, period.
We all know that.
We all know that.
Everybody knows that.
He did it to someone that he could do it to.
Everybody knows this.
Yeah. Someone that was physically much smaller, who's not known to fight, who's not known to be aggressive.
When have you ever heard of my brother being in a fight in Hollywood? All the years he's been in Hollywood. You ran down his whole discography.
Never heard it, not once.
His discography, his whole
not once.
IMDb. Never.
I can tell you about TK Kirkland fights.
Bruh.
But I cannot tell you about a single Chris Rock fight.
Never.
Yeah. Yeah, man, listen, I'm glad he was able to cash out on it because I'm sure that Netflix check was immense. Immense.
Got some nice gifts.
Do you know how much it was?
No. But I just said I don't count nobody's money.
Okay. But that's your brother, though. I'd be
No, man. My checks say Tony Rock. The only ones I'm concerned with.
I'm sure it was a nice amount.
I'm
sure
I got a nice gift.
Or possibly 8 digits.
I got a nice gift.
Oh, yeah?
I got a nice gift.
Oh, so after the show, he gave you something.
I got a nice gift.
What'd you get?
I got a nice gift.
Nice gift. Okay. A Netflix caliber gift.
I got a nice gift, bro.
Well, I mean, speaking of Netflix, you've never had your own Netflix special.
No.
And you actually paid for your own comedy special?
I did. I paid for 2.
For 2?
Yes.
And were they released already?
No. So, oh man, good story. Thank you for asking. Mm-hmm. So I shot a special. I'll give you the short story. I was waiting for years to do it. A lot of false promises. I said, fuck it, I'll shoot it myself. My own money, every penny spent, my own money. Shot it, edited, ready to go. Was gonna put it on a streaming platform. Comedy Dynamics saw it, offered me 6 figures for it. Mm-hmm. So now they have it. It's gonna go up soon. In the meantime, while I was waiting to do all that, crossing T's and dotting I's with contracts with them, I shot another half hour, again, produced my own, put my own money up, shot that. We're in editing right now. So once this one goes up, I'll give it some time, then I'll drop this one right behind it. And the worst thing they could ever let me do, and by the way, the Netflixes have said no, all of the streaming platforms were like, we don't know. So the worst thing they ever could do was let me know I could do it without them. Now I don't need anybody. Now I don't need a Netflix special. I don't need a Netflix deal. I can do it myself every time.
Right, it's called Rock the World?
The first one is Rock the World. The second one is called Born to Rock.
Born to Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both executive produced by Charleston Rock.
Okay.
My son.
Love it. So he'll get money, for years to come.
Perpetuity. That's what we're working towards.
Perpetuity. Have you ever had conversations with Netflix about a special?
I have not sat down with them. My agent at the time said he talked to them and they passed, but that's why he was my agent at the time, because I don't believe that he really had a conversation with them. I really don't. Shady fucking business, man.
Suge Knight co-signed you at one point?
Yo, I got drunk one night in what's the club? Sunset and Crescent Heights. It used to be called very many things. Now I think it's called 14.
Yeah, I think so.
It was called Coconut Teaser at one time. Laugh Factory's on the other corner.
Yeah, exactly.
One night I'm leaving the Laugh Factory. This was TV Tony. I'm on TV. I got my new car. I'm chilling on Sunset Boulevard. It's a Saturday night. I'm walking out the Laugh Factory. He just performed. I got a pocket full of money. I'm like, I see a line out the door. I'm like, I'm going to the club. I walk in Dolo. I go to the bar to get a drink. And some dude comes over. Big motherfucker, braids. Hey, yo, big homie said, come here. And I look over and it's Suge. And he's like this. I'm like, oh shit, Suge Knight. I walk over. What's up, little homie? How you, man? I'm like, oh, I'm chilling. Just got off stage at the Laugh Factory. We start talking. The coolest motherfucker ever. Now, granted, I'm not signed to Death Row and I don't owe him royalties. But for what we were talking about, we talked about new albums coming out. He knew everybody that was dropping. He told me about, LA. We talked about New York. We talked about the Dodgers and Lakers and Knicks and Mets. And we just said it. Girls are coming over. He's like, yo, give me a second. I'm talking to my man. I was like, this motherfucker's the coolest dude ever. He's like, yo, let's have a drink. Tells the waitress, yo, he drinking what I drink. The bartender, he drinking what I drink. She takes the bottle of vodka, does this. Then takes the cranberry. So I just out of curiosity, I go, yo, what do you drink? I drink triple vodka, splash of cranberry to make it red. I said, so nigga, we basically drinking a glass of vodka, a full glass of vodka. And he's like, cheers. And I'm sipping like a motherfucker. And he's drinking and we talking. And he finishes the drink and puts it back down, hits me on the shoulder, yo, finish that. Now I'm like, oh shit, finish that. And I finish the drink. And he goes, yo, another round. And we have another full glass of vodka with a splash of cranberry in it. And he like, yo, drink up, homie. And I'm like, this dude's gonna fucking kill me. And I'm drinking and sipping and talking, and we talking rap music and Bad Boy versus Death Row and talk about all the royalties he's still making from NWA and all type of shit. I'm like, oh, so you good? He's like, man, I'm good, man. Don't listen to that shit you hear. I'm good, bro. I'm straight. And chicks are coming over, like, can we go eat? And he's like, yo, hold up. I'm talking to my man. Like, he's shunning women to talk to me. First time ever in the same room with this guy. And we just talk. And he's like, I watched the show. I love what you're doing with the show. And he's like, yo, I see you around town sometimes. And he's like, you keep to yourself, and that's cool. Like, stay like that, man. Don't get involved in the bullshit in LA. Like, keep to yourself, man. Just, keep a low profile and you'll be fine. And then the club's letting out. And he's like, tells the girl, like, yo, bring the car around. And tells the homies, and they jump up and they surround him. And he's like, yo, if you ever need anything, let me know, man. And he starts to walk away. And he goes, you know how I get down. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck did he just tell me something? And I'm like, and I go back to my car. I drank 2 full glasses of vodka. I go back to my car. I put the seat back in the parking lot and go to sleep. There's no way I can drive the car. I wake up the next morning in the parking lot. Drive home that day. All my boys like, yo, you good, nigga? What the fuck you been? I'm like, nigga, I got fucked up with Suge Knight last night. Yeah. And every time I saw him after that, yo, what up, little homie? I'm like, yo, what's good, man? Like, it was 100 dude, man. Super cool.
Yeah, that one a little better than the Vanilla Ice story that he told me.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit better.
A little bit better. Because remember, Suge was representing this guy named Chocolate who was claiming that he wrote Ice Ice Baby.
Right. And they had to go get the releases and all that.
Yeah.
Allegedly hung him out a window and all that.
Yeah, that didn't quite happen. But what did happen is before the whole balcony incident, Vanilla Ice would be in LA like at Benihana. Suge would just show up randomly, would sit down with him and start eating his food.
Wow.
Off his plate. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm Suge. I'm going to see you around. Multiple times, multiple restaurants. Suge would just show up randomly.
Wow.
And then Ice went back to his hotel room one night with his 2 security. Suge and his homies were in the hotel room.
In the room?
In the room.
Wow.
They took his bodyguard's guns and smacked one of his bodyguards. And then took him, on the balcony and had a conversation with him about signing these papers.
Yeah.
He didn't actually hang him out the balcony. That's not true.
That's a myth.
That's a myth. He never hung him out the balcony, but he did give him a set of papers that he signed right then and there and got a whole bunch of money that ICE to this day said he did not deserve. And ICE says that a lot of that money started Death Row Records.
I believe it. I believe it.
Could have gone worse.
It could have gone worse. I just had to drink a lot of vodka.
I had to drink a lot of vodka. That's what it is, man. Tony Rock. Man, you and I go back 10 years.
Yes.
Always had positive experiences when we ran into each other.
Yes, sir.
Congrats on your success, man.
Thank you very much.
Being under the shadow of someone as big as Chris Rock makes it harder.
Well, you got to be close to something to be in the shadow of it.
Yeah.
There are other siblings in this business that are so far away from their good sibling that there's not a shadow because they're so far away. You got to be close to something to be in the shadow.
Do you think that being Chris Rock's brother made it harder or easier?
Double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword. So both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has its moments.
Exactly. Because your brother never
auditions
put you on, had you open up, put him in his own movies, whatever. It seems like your brother was like, listen, you're going to have to do your own
Initially, it started out like, yo, I want to do this myself. And then he was like, all right, bet I'll fall back. And then it started going good. And it's like, all right, well, keep it going. Yeah. So there was never a need. There was never like, yo, I'm fucked up. I need, there was never a need. As long as there's not a need, I'm going to keep rocking like this. But I'm looking forward to the special. I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to us touring together.
Oh, wait, so both you guys are going to tour together?
I'm looking forward to it. I guess one of the things on my list, like us on the same tour, I definitely want that.
This never happened yet?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about a tour. I've been on dates. I pull up in the city and he goes, yo, go do some time. Yeah. That's cool. But I'm looking forward to the 30 city, Tony, Chris, Jordan, let's go.
Right, because your other brother does comedy as well.
Yeah. My favorite comic, Jordan Rock.
That's dope, man. Tony Rock, man, always a pleasure. Till next time.
Bro. Peace.
Peace.